Hi everybody, it's Randy here. Sorry, I just was, me and Yidnar were talking about what to do with shines over there. Um, so you're looking to make a stream with the equipment that I have that I will gift to people. Kitty. I don't know if you can see Kitty, but you just walk by. Let's start. I first have to show you everything. Right now, my phone is on the ring light that Amber gave me. But this is all the stuff. Apologies for my fantastically clean living room. So this is our stuff. We got my computer, we got the CRT, we got the hockey bag, we got a monitor, and we got this other bag. I might be doing cuts in and out just to make this a little more seamless than me just kind of unfiltered doing it, but my thoughts will be unfiltered. So first, we should probably show generally what's in bags. So, this first bag. This bag I carry as it's not in the hockey bag. What's in it? First off, one of the most important things to our stream, the audio mixer. Great audio mixer, allows for lots of inputs. Very good, very nice. I have this extra little Dollarama tripod that I sometimes use for putting cameras on the top, but I don't use it a ton. I have to bring an extra power cord for my webcam or for my monitor or the computer. So I bring another one from my monitor. And I always bring my keyboard, which is just like the $10 one or whatever, and my mouse from Canada Computers. You could bring a wireless one or get one for it. The ones I had broke, and then I did not replace them yet. Slippy USBs 10. Very important to have. Lots of USBs in here. Got to make sure all the Wii's have them. USB hub. And a webcam. I generally keep some of this separate because it's stuff I want to reuse once I get home. But you don't have to do that. You can do and set up with bags however easy you can carry it and how you like. Maybe you want different stuff in this bag. But that's it for this bag. Obviously we got my computer. The only important thing to note with this is there's this little heat shield on the bottom that comes off, so just remember to make sure it's on. Otherwise it's just kind of a computer that I've had. Big one now, obviously there's the CRT and the monitor. Big one is the hockey bag. So, what is in the hockey bag? Let us open her up. Put it down? Not really. Okay. Never mind, I won't bring the camera over. Okay, so in this bag, there's lots of stuff. The main compartment is where we'll use most of it. We've got this bag, which is mostly stream things. We have this power bar, which is just a really great, good size power bar. Lots of options for the stream computer and stuff. It's got overload protection and things like that. We have my red bag of Wii's. There are 3 Wii's in here. These Wii's are all for the other setups. Like they're just my normal setups, which I guess maybe I'd be keeping. Maybe I'd leave one extra in there. But they're just more stuff. Extra power bar. Important to have at a Melee tournament, some have considered. Normally I put this one by the mirrors at Gus's, but it can kind of go anywhere. This bag is the headsets and all the general audio equipment that isn't the box of the audio mixer. This cord, I think, doesn't work anymore. This was a USB extender, or it is a USB extender, but it doesn't work anymore. Every time I plug something in, it's really dark. I don't know why. I think it's just broken. So we will need to get a new longer one, presumably. Other big thing, an extra kind of tripod. This is normally the one I put the stream webcam on for players. Very simple and easy to use. This bottom part just kind of turns, legs come out. Legs come out, the legs mentioned. You can set it however high you want. And then they have these things on it that just like you extend one and then you can make it as tall or as short as you'd like. That's mostly it for the main stuff. Obviously, we got my Stella Lee Magic the Gathering playmat. Shout out Stella Lee. That I just use as the mouse pad, obviously. There's stuff in the other pockets, which are more just like extra cords and extra things. Like, there's a thing in there that allows you to do dual screen setups if you want. There are just extra XLR cables, or not XLR, like extra cables for headphones and things, or mics rather, just if you need more length, whatever. But generally most of the stuff that I use on the kind of daily, or weekly I guess, weeky, would be the stuff in the bags that I've shown you. So we can kind of just get started. Generally at Gus's, the setup I like to do is I normally obviously go get all the tables first. So I get a big square table for the stream TV and stuff just because it's room. And then I get that kind of half table, which is normally by the taco place. I just take it and put it there for the projector. And then otherwise, in the back, there is obviously the Wi-Fi connection or the Ethernet connection. And then there's also the screen for the projector. It's in the back. It's kind of above the cooler. So if you need help reaching it, which I can reach it, so normally you don't need help because I'm, 5'7.5" or something. You just ask one of the people to grab it. They know that we are good people, so they know that they can trust us. So first off, important thing is to obviously plug in the stuff we're going to be plugging a bunch of things into. It's important to do that first. So obviously this setup will be like a tiny bit different spatial wise, but you can kind of just look at how I do it once I set it up at a weekly. Okay, so that is plugged in. Our next important thing, generally also sometimes I'll just make sure the computer gets plugged in first, just because then I can start plugging stuff into it. So we'll take one of our power cords. I wonder if I should... I'll plug it into the back of my computer. And then into the power. Okay, boom, camera change. Hello. So now that we have our computer plugged in, because we plugged in the back to our power bar, normally the next kind of thing I like doing is just kind of getting things set up. So things aren't organized particularly in these bags, but I keep them kind of generally good. So I know that Wi-Fi has to go to the back, so I'll put this by where the Wi-Fi is. Obviously now we get this long cord, which is just the projector power bar, or power source. So normally I generally plug it in a bit later. It just has an extra extension cord on it that I just kind of only use with that, so if you need to use it for that. There's not really a way to set it up in here. There's just mostly in the power bar, there's kind of 3 areas. I normally put the big blocky ones on the outside so I can use all the inside ones. That's mostly it. Nothing too important. Here is our smaller USB extender that we're going to use for our webcam. Projector. Important. Unless you're at a venue that has its own projector or something. Commentator cam, second webcam has hit the NS Melee stream. That I often just leave on top of the computer because that's where I'm going to put it. DVI, or DisplayPort rather, into HDMI. This I often will just immediately plug in. Also, notably for the computer, there's obviously like your power switch that allows kind of power to go through. That I leave off until everything's plugged in. I've always heard that it's just generally good to plug everything in before giving everything power. Yeah. So we just will snap this in. And then I leave it. Normally I put that one in the monitor, and then I put an HDMI cord in there. Oh my god! NS Melee Wii! That we can leave over here, because I'll have to bring the CRT over. This webcam is a very old webcam. I only use it for propping up the projector. I don't actually use it for anything. It'd be a good vibe, because it's really old. It's a Logitech, but it's really, really old. But otherwise, I don't really use it much. Obviously now we have our power cord for the Wii. Also, now we have our second long one, which normally this is what I use to capture the capture card from the Wii. Just because it's got a lot of length, it's important. And you can put your setup wherever you'd like. Very important thing for Slippy mirroring. We got our router. Shout out Samani mentioned. This allows us to run Ethernet from the venue into this, and then run Ethernet into my computer and the Wii, and potentially anywhere else we need. It also gives its own personal Wi-Fi, which at Weeklies I have my own personal Wi-Fi. If you ever see Randy B23 or Randy's Wi-Fi or whatever, that's mine. Important thing, this needs to be able to reach both the CRT or the Wii and my computer, so you can get longer Ethernets and it'll work just fine. But I will put it over here for now. Alright. Last kind of important things. Here's our second power cord for our computer or our monitor. I just generally leave that until I need it. Here. This is an important thing. This is our capture card. Let me show you. Obviously, into the Wii. And then it comes out and it has these 4 plugs. So it has an S-Video, which is this one. You can kind of maybe see the little things. And it has our color plugs. So normally you can either do it one of two ways. You can either split and give the stream TV S-Video, or you can give the stream recording S-Video. Normally I give the stream recording the yellow because I want to give the players a better experience. So the white and red will plug into these white and reds from our capture card. And these extra wires are just splitters, so then they can go into the TV and one can go into the capture card. Plug in red, plug in white, and then we also have to plug in our yellow. The nice thing is, colors match. Yellow to yellow. If you wanted to plug in the S-Video, it would just be this one up here. But now all these signals will be put through this USB, and this is what we connect to our computer. It's called an AverMedia DVD Easy Maker. It's lasted me many a year. It has streamed many events from Peterborough all the way out here. Okay, so now we have a bunch of wires everywhere. What do? Well, first we check on our bag and make sure we don't have anything more, which we do. We have this HDMI cord for connecting to our projector. And we have this little thing, which is our adapter that goes in our Wii to give the Wii Wi-Fi. Internet. I have a couple extra cords, which is just, I have a SD card reader for if any setups ever needed to be updated. And I have an extra HDMI just in case. But there we go. There's all the stuff that's in the stream bag. So normally I just keep that separate because it's like only things that will be used for stream. So we can get started. Normally I leave audio till the end, just so I can make sure everything else is set up correctly first before audio. And normally I also leave plugging in the, like, these couple things, like my mouse and my keyboard, till the end, just because they're not that they're not important, obviously, but they don't need to be not in the way. I can move those. Obviously I plug in our USBs where we need to. So first off, what do I like to plug in first? Whatever. Often I'll get the camera set up. So there's just a little turntable, or little turning knob. On the bottom here, this thing that it screws into is sometimes loose. So just make sure it stays in there. Yeah, how you doing? How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday? Who's ready for the weekly today? I heard it's going to be pretty big. So there we go. Our camera is set up. It's on our tripod. The only difference now is normally I use that big long cord USB extender. Hello. He's playing with the HDMI. But now I use this smaller one. We just have to get a bigger one. Otherwise, yeah. And I plug it into one of the USBs in the back. Nothing too important about specific USBs. The only thing for cameras that I've figured out in my time is that, like, you can't have too many cameras plugged into the same kind of routing in your computer. So you'll notice that for this commentator cam, I'm not going to plug it into the back. I'm going to plug it into the front USBs on here. Just because, like, otherwise it can only pick up 2 for some reason. I think you can get around this with better cameras that use, like, a capture card that you can do stuff with, but this is just generally how I do it. So I plug my camera in the back in one of them. Doesn't really matter which. I'll plug this webcam for the commentators into one of the front ones. Also, apologies for my computer being dirty. It is just a dirty computer. Next. It kind of doesn't really matter. Like, the nice thing about doing this in an order that you like doing is that you can do it in whichever way. Often I go from, like, one side to the other. So I'll set up everything at the, like, actual setup first. Whether that's the Wii or the TV, or the webcam, like those kind of things. But then it's not too bad. So this is a little bit different. I guess I don't have to. I'm going to use this extra power bar over here just for plugging in the TV and stuff. Because normally at Gus's or wherever you'd have an outlet to plug into. And then I'll plug my Wii in. And similarly also for this one, I normally plug it in closer to the setup just because I don't have too long of cables. For this, it doesn't matter which USB it goes into, just one of them. I use the other for actually the Ring camera that this is holding. The Ring camera will also go in. But regardless. Also, I normally try to put it with these on the table because then it won't slide around. Obviously, we plug in the Wii. That's pretty important to do. We can turn on our Wii. And now for the back of the TV, you might not be able to see it, but there's just any kind of inputs for this TV. There isn't always any kinds of inputs, like some TVs only have the yellow plugs. Some TVs have slightly more stuff. Luckily, this is a TV that has S-video and stuff, so we can do that. So all we do, just make sure with the S-video, because there's basically like a little block in it, and then some other prongs. Just make sure that it's lining up. What are you doing here? into there, so we'll plug her in. And then we just plug in the split yellow or white and red cable, which leaves us all with everything is good, and then we can get all of our audio and visual from this. But let's see, let's make sure. Turn it on. Hey! Don't show Nintendo. Okay, next step. I plug in our router, which luckily normally can just kind of go on the floor. It's not, it just needs to be in a spot that you can get access to it. The other big thing, so obviously I'm at home, so I have an extra Ethernet cord and stuff. All you do at Gus's or anywhere is take this Ethernet cord, which is a mess, plug it one end into their router, and then plug the other end into this router. So we're going to imagine that this gray Ethernet cord is my white one. So just imagine with me for a moment. So yeah, we plug in our Ethernet into this yellow one. It says internet. We plug her in, and then it just depends. Normally, whichever way I have it orientated, I just bring whichever is closest. So this one, this black Ethernet cord, will go into the back of my computer. And then the second one will go into this on the Wii. Boom! Now we're basically all set up to give the Wii internet and to have the computer be able to read it through the Slippy. But next thing, how are we going to get this video signal? Oh, what's this cord doing here? So first we're going to drop it. That's what I do every time. We're going to just plug in the USB in the back here. Oh my god, did it? No. It looked like... And then we plug this into the into the USBs in the back. This is another one of, this is a video signal, so we have to be careful with not overloading certain kind of ports or certain routing in my computer. So normally I have the one plugged up there. I'll just plug the other one into here, and that is normally fine. Next thing, I go get a controller. All right, we're back. I did also change my shirt because I was getting too sweaty, and you could see it in the gray. This is just going to be, I'm going to plug in the monitor so we can see me plugging in a monitor, because I'm sure everybody needs to know how to do that. You plug it in, and then you plug it in. Try to make sure your wires don't overlap and stuff. That's just like something constantly you should be doing, is like, okay, I see this wire is going to be through 4 different wires. Make it not through 4 different wires. Oh my god, it turned on. And now we're actually going to use the other one. This one. The one I already plugged in. We are going to just plug this into my HDMI. Sometimes this computer is a little weirder for like getting recognized by this for whatever reason. I don't know why. Hi, kitty. What's up? You want to say hi? Booth. Good boy. And he left all his hair on me. Okay. So, where are we at? Most things are plugged in. Things are ready to kind of get organized, and we're ready to kind of turn on the computer. The only thing is that we could and can do our audio stuff first, which normally I like to do. The only other thing I might quickly do is just kind of plug in the projector. But that's kind of I just do it whenever. Normally I do it towards the end. It doesn't really matter for the projector much. I'm going to have the projector pointed this way to my back. But yeah, just pretty simple. You just plug in the extension cord that I showed earlier, and then you plug it into the power in there. Otherwise, you just turn it on, and it normally is pretty good. Big thing now, audio. So the way I like to do audio is normally I set up the big mixer first. I think it's important to do that. Otherwise, everything just kind of ends up a little nothing. Like it's a good first step. So if you have a table, you can obviously just put it on the table. This is what's inside. Is our mixer, some pieces of styrofoam, and then our power adapter. If you have room and like at, for example, at Flurry or at Nexus or at Bubba Magoo's at Grand Slam, I can put the mixer on a table. At Gus's, there's not really that option, so I often just put it on top of the box. But that's okay. We'll leave it on just the table for today. There's also a manual in there. I just left it. But also shout outs to Kay and Ariel for kind of organizing the donations and stuff to get the mixer. I know that there is stuff being in the works. We'll see how much I help with it for now. Oh my god, I'm so sweaty. It's so hot in my apartment. I apologize if I look incredibly sweaty on camera. So, important thing to note on this. There are many dials and knobs. You don't need to concern yourself with a lot of them. Mostly the ones you concern yourself with are these, which are, there's portions where it has like 0 or U. That means like you're zeroed in or you're unity, which means just kind of like generally where you want audio stuff to be. The top ones are gain, which is mostly what we use, just to give a little bit extra gain so things get caught. You can do a pan. You can do certain like making your highs, mids, and lows a bit better. I don't really use those a ton. And then the other one is this section, which is this is our out. So this is like what's actually being sent out. So you can do, high or low, or you can make the mono send, have a little bit of thing. But I'll show this a bit more once we start plugging things in. On the back, Property Venice Melee, and then this is where we plug in our power. So, we plug in our power. Generally, I don't turn it on yet, which when you turn it on, all that happens is this comes on. You can turn on a phantom power thing. Some mics need phantom power. We typically don't. Otherwise, it just looks like that, and that goes green instead of red. And then there's just like the power button up here. So, what do we plug into these things? Great question, Randy. What we plug in is our headphones. Our fantastic broadcast headphones. But there's also many a different cord in this bag. So normally I just kind of take one out and I know how it's setting up. So this cord. This has a black and a red. We're only going to be using one of them. You can see on the ends of these, they only have one line. That means that they're unbalanced. In unbalanced, I believe it's a TRS cable or not TRX. TRS cable. And all that means is like if you were outputting audio for 2 channels, like if you had a left channel and a right channel, you could send it through these and then the final product would end up needing both of them plugged in. So let's say you sent something out with both and then only had the black one plugged in, none of this red would get there would be no audio sent through it because it's not plugged in. So you'd be missing all of it. Typically, we just use the black side. You could use red. Doesn't really matter. I plug it into... In here, there's either you can do your main out, which is up here, or you can do your mono send. I like doing mono send just because I have a bit of control with this to add like some more volume and stuff with it. Whether or not that's the actual right answer, this is kind of where the end of my knowledge about audio engineering goes. But we're going to end up plugging this into our audio interface, which is this red thing. This is called a Focusrite. It's called a 2i2, which is just 2 inputs. The only thing that's different about this one than other ones is that in this first little channel, which is where we're actually going to plug in something, the tip of one of these cables fell off in it, so we have to use the second. We can't use this first one, which doesn't really matter because we have so many inputs through the mixer. And all these little buttons and things just like make it sound a little better, but we don't really have to worry about that because all of our stuff is being done through here. This is important because this is actually how we're going to end up getting back out audio to the commentators. This makes it a little louder. This also makes it a little louder for them. You can turn this up to make it louder for the stream, but if you're going to mess with audio, I suggest doing it on here because you just have more control. So how do we plug all this shit in? So first off, we need our white cable. This goes from the Focusrite. There's some USB-C cables in the back. We use the USB-C version, not the 5-volt DC version. Then we just plug it into the back of the computer. Normally I do it in the bottom just because it needs some room. Like that's closer to where it needs to go. And then this black cable is going to plug into our Focusrite. So that means right now, anything that gets sent out of our audio interface is going into here, which is going into our computer, which is how we get audio. The other important thing is this little piece of equipment, which is how we get headphones. So there's lots of headphones in the back. There's also, you can do like the 3.5 millimeters or the bigger ones. The only difference with this one is for some reason it kind of breaks sometimes. So 2 and 3 work, and 1 works, but it only works in half the headphone, and 4 typically doesn't work. It's just like crazy audio, or just doesn't even work at all. But 2 and 3 work. 4 sometimes works, but it's weird. And then this other one, this one that doesn't have a number on it, you might not be able to see the numbers. You will in person. This one is where we plug from here, from our Focusrite, into this to route audio through it. So we're just going to leave it there for now, on top of that. And I am dripping sweat with how hot it is in my apartment. It's a little bit why I'm keeping my face off camera, because I am so fucking sweaty. So this is a similar cable to this black and red one. The difference, though, is as you can see, there's 2 lines on it. That means it's balanced. That means we can take audio and it will give it out from both sides. Like it'll give the left and the right. So what we're going to do, we're going to plug it in here because we want to be sending audio out. So plugging it into this end of this Scarlett Focusrite. And then we're going to make sure it's not in the way. Then we're going to plug it into the back here into, it says stereo in, the others say stereo out. So that means audio that is sent out through the Focusrite is going to be sent into here, which is good, because that's where our commentator mics are being plugged into. Well, commentator headphones, rather. So here are our headphones. The cord kind of got a little wrapped up, but that's okay. So here's our headphones. Great broadcast headphones. Sometimes these come off. I have a couple extra, like, of these things. But regardless, the important thing is these. So we can see that there's, you know, one of the balance things for our headphones, and then we have our mic input. So just make sure the cord is untangled. I normally put it down just so I don't drop it. And now we get to the point, sorry, it's really warm. Now we get to the point where we plug in our mic input into here. So we plug it in at the top of the audio mixer. That's just generally where it takes place. Let's see if I can handle this slightly better. Maybe not. And then we plug our headphone, this is our headphone input, back into this. So I plug it into 2. You can also tell by where these lines are, so you can see that 1 and 4 are typically 0, and then these ones are up. That's because I use those ones. So normally I do it by the leftmost one here is the leftmost one here, which means that that headphone will be the left side commentator. If you're looking at the screen, like to the right, to the left of me will be where that person is talking. And now, shockingly, a second broadcast set of headphones has hit the NS Melee stream. So we're going to do the same thing, just with the other one. Boom. Now we're going to plug it into 3. And it should work. Normally, I can either, once I get everything on, I'll do a little test just to make sure like I can hear myself and whatnot. This cable is just the power for this. I don't even remember what this is called, but it's just the power for this, for the kind of headphone splitter. We are all plugged in. So, that's kind of it for general stuff that needs to be plugged in. Anything extra is like just stuff you want to add. So things like I'm going to add my mouse and keyboard. I'm going to add that stuff. Like, it's just, this is all you really need to be able to do what I can do. So I do have this USB hub for my keyboard and mouse. Doesn't really matter where they go. There is way more room at Gus's Pub and at other events. I just don't have much room on this table, which is all. But yeah, you get your mouse, you get your keyboard plugged in. And then again, just kind of keep things out of the way as best you can. You'll learn a system for how it works for you. But things are turned on now. Things can be turned on. So I'll turn on my audio mixer, and then I'll flick the switch for the computer, which is under here for me. Then we turn it on. And now this, I'm turning on the projector right now. It's just gonna go over here. You won't really be able to see it, but it's just sometimes I need it on to make this one see the input. When this happens, I typically have to like restart my computer. Like there's not the power off button, there's just like a second kind of restart button, and it normally works. I will clean up this computer. I don't know if it's going to be used. Maybe I won't. Whoever's taking over can use this computer. Feel free. I'll probably wipe it because I don't think there's anything I need on it. And then like reinstall everything. There's not too much for drivers. For drivers, all you need to know is that the Focusrite has a driver that you need. Obviously, there's all the drivers for Melee stuff. But I think generally there's a couple OBS plugins too. I'll also change the password to be a better password, other than just one I know. But we're in. I might, at this point, swap to actually the stream camera so then I can show some more things. But we'll see. Important now that the computer's on and everything, this is when I will start loading up Melee. So we plug into port 1. That's the port we got to plug into. And then we go to Homebrew. And then we wait for this little Wi-Fi symbol in the bottom to turn on. I don't know if you can see it, but now it's not flashing anymore. And we can press start, and then our IP address for our Wii will come up. So we can see 192.168.1.101. So that's actually the thing we're going to connect to in Dolphin. Which, yeah, I think now I can probably swap to sitting down and using that one. Like using the stream camera and stuff to show more of the onboarding stuff. Okay, hello, we are here. So as we can see, we're on the computer now. This is the commentator cam. Let's check our game screen. Hello. So as we can see, there's no melee things. So I'm gonna go to. I actually have a scene with an OBS called Dolphin Test, which is normally where this shows up. Sometimes, actually, I should probably. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yup. This happens sometimes. This is okay. It's gonna be silly, and then it's gonna figure itself out. An important thing to do. This is important. So obviously we can see our thing is messing up. What we can do is click on this melee gameplay, and then we click configure video, and then normally that works. Sometimes the audio will be a bit messed up, and you just have to change it from NTSC-M to NTSC-MJ, and then it'll just do like a refresh, and then it'll work again. Obviously we don't have audio on right now, but that's okay. So another important thing, Stream Deck. This is something you can install on your phone. It's right down here, so we can see. If I click on it, it'll come up, and it'll show these like sets versus. This is just on my phone. I can change through hotkeys what's on the stream. You don't have to do this. I just like doing it. Normally, I'd like to install the updates because there's always a fucking update. But now that we're here, important thing is obviously we need to set up our Dolphin. So we go here, we turn on our Slippy loads. There we go. And we go up to this tab, Console Mirror. So normally, I generally have it set up. Normally, all the new connections are here. So like if you didn't have this set up, important settings though. We hit the dots, we hit edit. We go down here, target folder. This is just where you want the replays to save, because replays will always save. Another important one, enable real-time mode. Please turn this on when you are connected with a LAN connection. If you aren't, it's okay. Just don't turn it on. And then we do show advanced options. Only modify these values if you know what you're doing. By the end of this, you're going to know what you're doing. You got Randy on your side. You know what you're going to do. So, this is the auto switcher. This is what allows us to have Slippy Dolphin for in-game stuff, and then any of the menuing and character select screen and results screen, and audio will be the capture card. But this is what allows us to do it. So as you can see, OBS WebSocket IP local host. We're doing it on here. If you had like a 2-computer setup, you might have to change this IP stuff. 4455 is the port. No password, OBS source name Dolphin. You need to make sure that this source name matches your source name in Dolphin. So as we can see, I have this thing down here in my sources, Dolphin, and it's case sensitive. So we can see there's no capital D. It matches this. Okay, console relay. I've never really messed with this, but whatever. So now going back to this, obviously we can now see that our port, our Wii's IP, 192.168.101. Oh, perfect. It matches the one in our Slippy. Okay. So normally you don't want to connect here. I'll show you what happens. If you click connect while we're still on this screen, you can now see that it says connection on port 51441 encountered an error. This just means, I don't really know exactly what this means, but all it means is just that like the
Wii isn't ready to be connected to. So we go back, we press B, we load up our Slippy Nintendo version 1.13.0. We take a sip of coffee. We get on this Nintendo screen. We click A for SD card. Now we check our thing. We see, okay, replays are off because we're not going to be getting replays through the USB, which is fine. We see net is on. If we needed to change any of this, obviously this is my Flurry real ISO.ISO. We'll use the normal one. You press B to change anything. So you can see here, Slippy Networking. Enable Slippy Networking. Yes, we want that on. Yes. Slippy Replays. We can leave that off. The nice thing is, you don't need Slippy Replays on to get the replays when you're... Okay, this happens sometimes with this camera. If it gets bumped, it'll turn off. That's okay, though. I just have to deactivate and reactivate it. The important thing with this Slippy Replays is that you're going to get the replays through Dolphin no matter what. You don't need to have this Slippy Replays on, is the thing. Slippy on port A, no, we don't need any cheats. Controller fix, UCF 0.84RC. I don't want the PAL patch. Convenience, I leave this one on tournament. So you can do D-pad rumble stage striking. Obviously you can change this. Maybe we should have it on stealth, but lag reduction, we want the PDF. We don't want polling drift fix plus half a frame. This is only for monitors. Frozen stage is nothing, even though we should have it on Stadium. Nothing. Gameplay, wobbling. Yeah. Ledge grab limit, I'd normally leave off. I don't really care about having it on. Screen, default, because we're using CRTs. Safety, you can turn this on. It will force 1.0 damage ratio always. Pause will be always on, and it will always be on for 5+ stock mode, whatever. If you press R, you get into this menu, which normally this menu just kind of gets left alone. The only time it was used is for Flurry when we were loading in, obviously, that custom stage. But regardless, so now we can see on the top right, home, which is the start button, go back, A is select, and B goes to game list. So we're done messing with our settings. We press, we get back to this screen, and then we press A. And then we see this kind of come out, the Slippy Network inish. It's just initializing. If Slippy Networking is on and you don't have anything connected, it'll take like 20 seconds because it's like trying to connect. But regardless, whatever. So now we should end up... Oh. It's on fucking 30 volume on the CRT. So now, what's really nice... we have our game, and we can hear it on the stream, so you can probably hear it right now. I'm gonna do this for a second. And what's also really nice is we can hear it in OBS. So this melee gameplay is actually what the commentators are listening to. So obviously you have to unmute it. And if I click this little enable monitoring, I don't hear it. But if I turn it on, I do. Sometimes if the audio gets desynced, you just have to do one of these. Another important thing is that this will turn it up and down, obviously. But if you want to turn it up or down in the commentator headphones, if you want to mess with it, you can turn it up here for everybody on the commentators, or like you can turn it up here, so this turns it down actually, but it also turns down my co-commentator, and this will turn it up in my headphones, same way as this for the other headphones. This camera is always a little bit like that. I think it just, the USB isn't the greatest, so if you move it a little bit, also you can see like right here there's like a little mark on it. I don't really know. Regardless, we continue. So obviously in our dolphin test scene, everything is connected. So now let's see what happens when we click connect now that Melee is loaded. We click it. Oh, we see this come up. Randy 2, that's the Wii is called. See user stream, okay. And then we see this mirror button, and we see this is connect, but mirror is what we want. So we click it. This is sometimes kind of loud, like Windows notifications. Oh my God, we have it. Important note. We are capturing audio through the capture card. So you want to make sure that the audio in Dolphin is 0. Otherwise, you will get mirrored audio. This is what happened. There's a set last week where Kay asked me, he's like, hey, like I'm hearing 2 Luigis, and there's only one on screen. I'm like, ah, right. That's because I was using my other computer, my main one, and I forgot to turn down the Dolphin audio. Normally, if it's this computer, it will always be 0, but it's just important to check if you hear double audio. Other important fact, make it full screen. Press tab into it, press Alt and Enter. Boom, we're full screen. Now, obviously then you use Alt Tab to kind of mess around and get out of the screens. So, why does this matter? Also, other important note. Did anybody see what happened when you disconnect this WebSocket client? What does that mean? So remember when we were back here doing all this, like, WebSocket? That's the same word. That must mean something. So I'm going to go into OBS, and we're going to do Tools. We're going to do WebSocket Server Settings. Great. And this is where all this information needs to match. So we can see the server port 4455 matches. I like enabling the WebSocket server. That's how you use it. It has to be enabled. If it's disabled, you're not going to be able to use it. Enable system trailers. That's what enables this thing in the bottom, just to let you know that it's connected. I don't really do the debug logging. You can set it to need a password. You just click this enable authentication, and then you can do show connect info, and it'll show stuff. Obviously, it doesn't want me to show it because I'm recording. So now we'll see what happens. Connect, mirror. We see this comes up, and we see this comes up. What this means is that this is built to change, to basically make make this source, this Dolphin source, it'll make it visible when it's on and not visible when it's not. So you won't see the waiting for game, whatever. Okay, let's get into it and see if it works. So I'm gonna close that. Let's go, we'll do Fox versus Jigglypuff. We're gonna go to Yoshi's Story. So now, important to see, when we turn back up, we see this, current file, game. So we can see that this file is being written into this target folder. And we see that, like, it's loaded. Great. That's perfect. But right now we see in our Dolphin, that it's not actually enabled yet, this screen. I don't know what happened. Oh, it came on, but now it's off because I paused. And it's back on. Isn't that great? So generally this is so then, like, if you pause, it doesn't look weird. It'll be like the normal pause. Obviously, what right now you're seeing is just the Dolphin because I have the display capture on, but that's generally it. Normally, it takes a second to load in, and then I like do a bunch of pauses to make sure it works. So I will turn off the display capture and we'll see. So right now, this is the capture card. We can see it's a little worse quality. Obviously, it's not terrible. It's watchable. But now we see, oh, okay, now we're on Slippy quality. And then let's say, oh, okay, I get this up throw up air, and then I'm like, fuck, it didn't kill. I'm going to kill myself. Or somebody pauses. Boom, and get the capture card. Okay. We also notice audio continues when we're paused because we're not using the Dolphin audio. It's bad. It gives bad artifacts. It just is terrible. But now we see, okay, and then you see that little change? So now we're back on the game capture, and we can see it says waiting for game. Great. But what's being shown is our capture card, and the audio is the capture card right now. So we can see it's off. Now, ready? We're going to go and do another game, and I'll make it a little smaller. So we'll go back to Yoshi's, and we'll see. It comes up, and then it comes on. And you can see, like, the mark change. The best way to line it up, there is, like, I think it's 303 pixels on either side when it's full screen. Normally, I just try to line it up best, and then I use the stock count and just kind of pause a couple times or use the timer. But yeah, so that's kind of the capture. Now that we have our capture right, you know, whatever, we're happy with that. We can hear it in our audio. We can hear it in my headphones. I can hear my co-commentator. We're good. I tested. I said test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. I take a sip of my coffee. Yeah, I'm a rapper. We go back to our commentary cam. We see how sweaty I am. Oh my god. But now we go to our game screen. Now we can see that it's great because what's happening is I'm actually display capture, add one existing. Okay. So we can see now that when I go to this game screen, okay. When I go to game screen, imagine this was lower. Okay. This is the game screen right now, but I have display capture on. So imagine I go here, and then this is the dolphin test. This is what is, we're actually importing this scene. So we're doing plus, and then we do scene. And then we can import any scene that we want to a different scene. So what we're doing is actually setting everything up. You know, we have our layout set up. We have our whatever set up. And then we're importing the scene of the gameplay on top of the overlay. So that what's being captured is actually this dolphin test screen. Rather than putting it in, doing each of these for the specific, like, because we're using the auto switcher, you want, like, a base scene that you can just import everywhere, which is what we're doing. Obviously, now we have, like, tournament name down here. We have our logo. We have the overlay. We have the webcam. This is, you know, if you need to make any changes, if you need to deactivate it, reactivate it, whatever. And then we have our dolphin test. Great. Similar thing, we move to player cam, and what's being brought in is actually our game screen. Let me add the display capture. So as we can see, our game screen is actually being brought in. And what that is if we take it away, we can see that, oh, we're actually using that for the webcam. Just because, like, I liked the proportions of it. Commentator cam. Great, easy cam. We can throw the dolphin test scene on top, just to get audio. You need to do that to get audio on each of your scenes. Our recent sets, pretty similar thing. Our game screen is what's capturing the webcam. We used an imported scene. Also, another incredibly important thing to know. So now that we're back here and we can see that this is like my display. So we can see like player cam. We can see now that like what's being captured from that scene that we imported is the display cam and things. Like that's why it looks funky. But important thing to note. So if I want to make something smaller, there's a couple ways. So obviously this is a 1920 by 1080p or kind of like thing, or ratio. So I can make this smaller and it'll keep this continue. This is just press and click on it. But what happens if I hold shift and then press it? Oh, I can like kind of maneuver things. That could be useful. What if I want to only capture like a certain part of it? What if I only wanted to capture the right side of the screen? You can hold Alt and then drag over and capture it. There's also similar ways to do this. If you right click and do transform and then edit transform, you can like crop individually pixels, you can do a lot more things. But your base stuff, you know, you can hold Alt and like do kind of this and capture, and maybe I only wanted to capture this section of it. Whatever, way she goes. Yes. I think that might be it. Obviously, I have some other things like this bracket. The bracket thing never really works out the best. It is what it is. next important thing is our plugins. So we have a couple plugins. Input overlay, I don't think is actually a thing. I don't know why that. The capture audio. The only other one, actually this is great because I don't think I have this one set up. All right, so what we're gonna do, we are going to go to Google. So we are going to use this thing called Atom Multistream. What is this? Oh, perfect. We're gonna go to, obviously there's stuff you can pay for or whatever. We're gonna go to products, we're gonna go to Multistream. Then we're going to do download multi for free. Nexus. What the fuck? We're just gonna wait for it to download. We're gonna install it. I probably need to. I might need to close my OBS though. So I might be back. Okay, I will be back. Okay, we are back. I reopened OBS. So now what we're going to see. So that was a plugin we added. It's Atom Multistream. And now we're going to go into Docs, which is normally another thing where you can also add in certain things. So if you want to add something like a custom browser, I have my chat and NS Melee chat in here. If you wanted to add something else, you could. Whatever. But we're going to go Docs. We're going to turn on Atom Multistream. And we're going to just kind of leave it in here. So important that this can do is it can stream to many different things. So obviously it's built in right now to stream to OBS. Another thing you can do is set up multiple profiles so you can have whatever, but I don't have that on this stream. This is fine. We're going to click this little cogwheel. We're going to do main outputs. We're going to do add output. We're going to do YouTube. We're going to output name. We're going to do like YouTube NS Melee. And then YouTube stream key. I'll probably cut this part out. But we can just click on the YouTube creator studio. It doesn't show it actually. Okay, whatever. We get our stream key. This part I might have to cut out. I don't know if okay. When we create our output. And now all we have to do to go live is normally you'd have to click like start streaming down here, whatever. All we need to do is click these buttons. So normally I like the video guide I watched said click your first one, like click the built-in stream for Twitch first, and then maybe wait like 5 to 10 seconds and then click the YouTube one, just to give it time to like connect to Twitch quickly and then connect to YouTube. And then otherwise, if we're on our YouTube screen, you know, today, Spin to Win 135, we're going to name it Spin to Win 135. And we're going to make it this, just so then people can see. Game, we probably want to make sure the game is Super Smash Brothers Melee. Don't have to. I don't really know. Where the hell did it go? But I just like saving it. You can, I believe, add like a thumbnail and stuff, but I don't really do that. Regardless, this is how it is. This is how it works. I guess in theory you could also make a pop-out chat. So this is what we can do. We can copy this. We can go back to our OBS. We can do docs. Custom browser doc. We can go YouTube chat. And then toss her in. Apply. And now our YouTube chat will be in here. Obviously, I'm not signed in. You'll have to sign in, but regardless. Just then you can see both chats. Yeah, this is how you go live on both. Normally, I like putting it behind here because then I can just like quickly go back and forth between controls and whatnot. Excuse me. So now we get to Tournament Stream Helper, which this is a bit easier to understand, I think. Another important thing is that for the output to like the projector, you normally you make sure you're not selected on anything. You do right click, open preview projector, and then S2 Tech is my projector. So you just click it. OBS projectors aren't the best. I will say this. They're not great. There are better ways of doing it. I couldn't quite figure them out. I think you need like a capture card, like card in your computer to do it the best, and then you can like output. It's like, it works fine. If you can find a better way to do it and output, great. That would be something to look into. But regardless, we're here. So now we see our tournament stream helper. We have to set our tournament. So, you know, we'd go to here, we'd go start.gg/wiki. Now we're here. So obviously I have a bit more settings than most people. If it's me, I'm loading up. I'm opening my settings tab in a different tab because I'm going to go in and seed things, so pools and seeding. But if you're just inputting it, you just have to go to melee singles, and you can, I believe, just go from here. But if you want like just the specific pools, I got like loading up the brackets. Okay, boom. And now as we can see on here, we can see all the stuff. Whatever. So we go back to Tournament Stream Helper. We go here. We input our link. Then we load a set. So let's say, okay, we're loading up Cobber versus 5 glasses of milk. Now when we go back, it should load up Cobber versus 5 glasses of milk. It should show it on each screen. It should show it on the recent sets because they're all linked together. It should show it on the versus screen. These are all really cool things that we should use. Shout out Disco Ghost for making a lot of these things for Sunrise, and then I've adapted them to here. Not like much, like I just made sure they worked and stuff. There is also a guide for the multi-stream thing in the TO chat, and I'll probably put it over into the stream running chat now. Okay, what can we do now? So obviously now we've loaded up our thing. Let's say everybody knows generally how to use this, whatever. We know that if we don't want it to auto-update from StarGG, we can click X, and then we can, you know, change the score and stuff here. The bracket one is here. Often you have to do like phase, pools, phase group, progressions, and like it just kind of doesn't work sometimes. I won't lie. Whatever. Sometimes you have to pull latest completed sets from StarGG. It doesn't. Sometimes you have to reset the tournament. It's just like, make sure you do all that stuff before, like, and sometimes you even have to like close and reopen it. Okay. Now we're going to change titles and things. So this is we can see this is NS Melee Chats here, and I'm logged in and I'm a mod. So I can do !edit com, !bracket, and then we set it to our bracket. So now somebody comes in and is like, oh, this is a cool bracket, let me check it out. Okay, let's do !bracket, boom, perfect. Now let's say I want to, like the title, what's the title right now? So title for NS Melee Museum, Spin to Win 134, featuring Inky, NS Frog, K, Kishoto, Randy, and many more. That's not right. It's Spin to Win 135. So you do !set title, all one word, and then I like to just copy and paste it because I'm lazy, and then change what I need to. Let's say it's 135, and then normally what I do, this is just a me thing, I go here, I do a bit of seeding, so let's say fucking Colin North is second. Let's say Chow is third. Let's say not fingers up, because that'll be hard. Cobber can go here. Oh, Smack is up there now. Let's put Drucifer in the top 5. So normally I do the top 5. So let's say this was it. I would go back to my OBS. I would clear out all this. I would say the top is Slab, Crab, Smack, Colin, North, CHAOO, Drucifer, and many more. Normally I do 5. If it's somebody's birthday, like it's Griff's birthday today, I'll probably make sure Griff's in the title, things like that. It's not like a huge deal, but it's just something I like doing. But there we go. That changes the title. You just have to be a mod to do that kind of stuff, so we can probably mod a couple more people that need access to it, just so it's not my account only and like Petra and Thornman and stuff. I'm trying to think if that's it. It may be. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, I guess I should, for a brief moment, talk about packing things up. And generally, the idea for packing things up is everything goes back in the way that I took it out. So if it was in that bag originally, it's in that bag at the end. There's not really a process other than make sure everything's off and then start unplugging stuff. It's not crazy. Like, setting it up is a bit more complicated and weird because they have to go in specific things. It's just make sure stuff is in the bag that it was in. Pack up however you'd like to pack up. Typically what ends up happening is at the end of the night, I'll go and after Grands, I'll go take apart like the stream TV and all that stuff while they're doing like a winner's interview. And then I can kind of start packing that up. Steelsy or whoever's there, Bongos, whoever's generally there. Also, Kitty Cat is here. They'll help take apart the audio stuff. They know a bit and where things generally go. I just like to keep things that are used with each other together is my like thought of like, obviously I think there's maybe better ways to pack things up, but I haven't found it and I like the way I do it for me. If it's different for you, that's completely fine. But regardless, it's important to find your flow. It's important to find how you like to do things. Obviously, if there's more people, it'll be easier. Somebody can be setting up the stream TV while somebody is like doing nice stretch, buddy. Somebody can be doing the stream TV while somebody's setting up the audio equipment or the computer or something like that. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me or ask. Like I regardless of me stepping down, I'm still gonna be at tournaments, so like I can still help answer things, and like I'm not like, no, I'm never gonna fucking help with this stupid stream again. Like, I'll still help, but I'd like it to not be my priority or my responsibility. If things are weird and you're not sure why, please ask me. It is, I would rather help and figure it out than have our stream not like have something wrong with it in that kind of way. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. I don't think there's anything else in terms of specific things. Let me check the Discord, because I did ask like what people wanted me to make. Maybe there's something I'm forgetting right now. Set up teardown procedures and time frames. Okay, so normally I like to be there. I'm normally there quite early. Like I've often been there at like 4:30. Which isn't. You don't have to do that. Normally I can, if I really need to, I can get this set up in like 30 minutes. I like an hour at least. It's generally better to do that. Tearing down takes way less time because things don't have to be in the right spot. They just have to be put away. But generally it's about 30, I would say, minutes. If you have more people, it's longer if there's less people. Obviously for me also, I'm carrying in and out 4 CRTs each tournament, which people probably won't. I'll probably let whoever kind of takes it over use my small TV for stream, and then I'll keep my other ones, unless they want one of my other ones. Using the scoreboard software, I've shown that and have the other video about that. And processing replays. That I'll maybe do that guide later. I don't think I really need to do it right now. Or I guess I could. It doesn't take very long. You know what, I'll just do it. So, we're here. We go to our desktop. We can close the game. Yes, I'd like to stop. We can close chat, we can close this. Generally, well, I don't normally do it on this computer, so it's a little different. But normally I have a folder that has like Slippy replays. So I might be able to do it quickly. Let's say documents, Slippy is typically where stuff is put. So Randy 2. Okay, so I do have some of these from spins. 6, 9, 6, 16, yeah. Let's say I wanted to process the 2 replays from today that we used. So I'd copy these. I'd go to another folder. I have this on my other computer as well. So I do have like Slippy replays. Boom. And then I make another folder in here that would say spin 135. Now I put them in here. Now that can be good enough. Obviously, Slippy files are not that big, but sometimes you want them to be smaller. There are better, I think, processes for this task, but this is what I like doing. So I will compress. Oh, this just, it looks, the menu is slightly different in Windows. I'll just do this. So now this is the compressed version of it. And then I typically delete this first version. I don't often do this before I find out if the replay's saved. I always generally I always check first before deleting it, but I'm not because I'm just doing this. But regardless, we go back and then I copy it in here because now it's a little bit smaller. Whatever, away she goes. But then for any tournaments that you're an admin in, you can go to this SLP locker. And then obviously it sees my StartGG. Oh, it doesn't. It's not logged in. What's my fucking thing? This is my email if anybody wants to email me. I don't know if that's my password. I'm gonna try this one. Okay, maybe this. Okay. It was that password. So let's say I wanted to upload it to an event. I would click spin to win 135. You go into here. This is your replay directory. Watch for new replays is like I could be uploading these automatically from like the stream because like obviously these will have new files put into it every single time a stream set gets loaded. I don't really like doing that. But you can do upload everything in a folder. So you click here, you click wherever your documents are saved. So this one's on the desktop, for example. I would click Slippy Replays, I'd click Spin to 135, I'd click Select Folder, and then you click Upload All Now. The only thing with this is it can't upload doubles, and it'll mess up sometimes. It's generally good for any singles matches, but doubles it won't get, and things like that. The other way is you upload this compressed version to Google Chrome or to Google Drive, and then I just upload the file here. Like sometimes, like AFK uses the mega files. I sometimes Thorman just uploads the full thing. Sometimes I'll use just normal stuff. Doesn't really matter. Otherwise, I just post when they're done. But yeah, I think that's generally it. That's kind of just the process for that. It's not too hard. Again, any questions? I think I've made a video about how to access them and stuff. But yeah, I think that's it for stuff I can really say right now. I'll have to pack all this up so I can reset it all up later. But regardless, thanks for watching, anybody that watched. I'm sure the stream will be great. Not in my hands. I have full faith in everybody in the scene. You know, regardless of if it's as consistent or good as when I'm doing it, because I'm pretty psycho when it comes to things I like to do. Obviously, I like to do things well and do a lot and do things, and I think we can do that. And regardless of if our weeklies take a little hit, I know the big tournaments will have amazing production and somebody will really do well with this, whoever it may be, whether it's the group, whether somebody takes kind of, I don't know what the word is, takes like point on it. I mean, obviously, like Meetsim wants to help, I believe, like he's talked a lot about it. Thornman runs his own stream out of PC and stuff, so he knows a lot more than he probably did a year ago. We got a lot of people that are willing to help and whatnot, so this is all to say, if you need me, I am reachable. Randy Ito on Discord. Fucking just say anything in a Discord, and I'm sure you can be sure I will read it and probably respond to it. Okay, time to put everything away. See ya! Wait. I was gonna put the glass back on, but they're too far away. Bye!